it got harder and harder for me to pack my suitcase and leave and go away and stay in another hotel and drive 8 hours and be away from my friends and have another relationship fail. I was just so unhappy and I was so unaligned, and I had no fulfillment that I ended up sitting on the edge of a bed contemplating suicide.
Hello and welcome to my podcast, Become. My name is Sabine Kvenberg and I am your host. The content will inspire you to reach your aspirations and become the best version of yourself. I feature interviews with successful individuals from various industries delving into their personal and professional journey, how they overcame adversities and the strategies they used to achieve their goals. We have to become the person we are meant to be first, so we can live the life we are destined to live. That also means we must overcome challenges and work through difficult times to learn, grow, and become the next, more fabulous version of ourselves. I'm so glad that you're here. Let's get on this journey together. Hello and welcome to my show. And as always, I have a wonderful guest, and today it's no difference. Kevin Palmieri. I hope I pronounced that right.
You did. Oh. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. I look forward to our conversation and really would like to begin by you give us a quick rundown of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so today I am the CFO, the founder, and the host of Next Level University. We're a global top 100 podcast with 1,403 episodes, and we do an episode every single day. So that is a big piece of who I am. I'm a podcaster at heart. I'm on this microphone every single day talking to somebody in some place. And at one point, that was all a dream. So I guess you could say I'm living my dreams, Sabine.
Oh, that is fantastic. And let me tell you, this actually, it just came back to me. That was our tagline when my husband and I opened our performing arts school. And it's really, the tagline was live the dream. Because especially in the entertainment industry, it's always referred to living the dream, right? And I see that across all industries and people, really, because at the end, we all want to live our dream, right? We want to do what we love what we do. So I applaud you for that. Now,
thank you.
Tell me, you had that dream. How did it evolve? How did it came about to go after it? Where did it start?
Mostly trauma and pain. Unfortunately, I think for many of us, our dreams are birthed through some kind of pain or discomfort. So for me, I made $100,000 at 26 with no college degree. And I remember opening my final pay stub of the year. And I remember expecting to feel more confident, more secure, just better. I expected to feel better. I thought all the external results would fix my internal stuff. And when I opened my final pay stub, nothing changed. Yes, I was comfortable financially, and yes, I had opportunities that maybe other people wouldn't and privileges other people didn't. But internally, I didn't feel any different. So I remember saying to myself, for most of my life, definitely this year, I have lived unconsciously. The opposite of unconscious is hyperconscious. So I started a podcast called the Hyperconscious Podcast. Something very unique happened at that time. This all happened in the span of like a month. I made money, got my final pay stub, realized I was miserable. One of my friends had a YouTube channel and he interviewed me on mindset and fitness and lifestyle stuff. After the interview, I said, imagine if you could do that for a living. And one of my other buddies was there and he said, well, there's people that do. So it was the perfect storm of I was miserable at work and I was kind of looking for a new direction. So then I ended up starting a podcast.
What you said is so true for so many, that the external does not match your internal. And in this case, it was, you had a great paycheck, right? What did you do? What was your profession that you thought was it for you by making so much money?
Yeah, I worked in an industry called weatherization. So we would go into buildings and it was our job to make them more energy efficient. Usually I worked on state owned buildings or government owned buildings. So
Mm-hmm.
I was getting paid really well because I was getting paid from the state of the government. And usually we worked on schools. That was the vast majority of the work I did. And since we worked on state buildings, I traveled a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
the year I made the most money, I spent 10 months living on the road because we had so many contracts in other states. And so I was never home. I was living in hotels. I was living out of my suitcase. And these were not the nice hotels. These were somewhat sketchy hotels, unfortunately.
Yeah, I hear you. And no matter what the hotels are at the end, because I did this too. I
Mm,
traveled a lot, putting on shows all around the world. Really, for a time, I was working for a company, uh, and at the beginning, it was exciting. Ooh, travel, right? But it gets old very, very quickly.
yes.
And so I hear what you're saying, and then combined with something that really didn't fulfill you. So now you discovered something by actually doing it
Mm,
for your friend, right? Doing this
yeah.
interview, and that sparked something within you. Can you take us back to that moment where
Mm.
you had that transformational feeling, or what was that sparked your decision to quit your job and start something new?
I Unfortunately, it was pain. I was so miserable at my job. And it got harder and harder for me to pack my suitcase and leave and go away and stay in another hotel and drive 8 hours and be away from my friends and have another relationship fail. I was just so unhappy and I was so unaligned and I had no fulfillment that I ended up sitting on the edge of a bed contemplating suicide. And
Wow.
I was so miserable. I couldn't see a way out. I had no hope for a brighter future. I was just struggling. And I ended up reaching out to one of my friends. This is really what it was. I mean, in this moment of pain, in this moment of what felt like just complete lack of control, I reached out to one of my friends and I said, "Hey, I'm struggling. I'm having these dark thoughts. I'm having these struggle emotions. I don't know what to do." And he said, "Well, over the last couple of years, Kev, you've changed a lot. Your awareness has changed a ton, but your environments have stayed the same. I think it's time for you to change your environment." That was really it. I got permission from somebody to make a different decision. And he poured into the lack of belief that I had. I didn't have that much belief. So
Mm.
in that moment, it was like, interesting. There is another potential here. Maybe I can't fully see it, but somebody else can see it for me. So that was really it. I made a decision that day that I was not going to stay at that job much longer. And then I ended up leaving 3 or 4 months later. But it was somebody else who they allowed me to borrow their belief. And I took the
Yeah.
belief and said, I need this for a short time, maybe a long time. And that really helped me start the momentum of belief for myself.
Yes. Oh, what you just said, it was so powerful. You borrowing the belief of someone else,
Mm,
having a person in your life that gives you the permission, that says, hey, you can do it. And
yeah.
also be kind of a person that sees us from the bird's eye view, because he told you, hey, have you changed over the past months, but your environment didn't. So that was very impactful.
Mm,
But it can also go the other way. it it just comes to me. I the other day saw, again, a star was born. And for listeners, if you still want to see it, so plug your ears, right? But it was in one scene towards the end, a moment where one of the characters was really struggling, went through um, addiction, and went through the process, to a AA, and so forth. But there was a person in his life that was the opposite of your friend.
mhm.
He actually told him, you will never change. It will happen again. You will go back to drugs again, and then you ruin your wife's life. Can you even imagine someone telling you something like that? Of course, it's a movie, but with that said, I'm sure that plenty of situations existing in real life. And see, here's the opposite what happened. He actually, because of that, not just contemplated, but went through suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like this aha moment that I just got, that yes, you can be either this person or the other. And what I like with what you do now, what I do, we are able to impact in a positive way so many people. And in some instances, we possibly could be the one who said, hey, there's more in you. Don't do this dark thing. You can go get into the light. So I love that. Now, Kevin, tell us, since then you decided that was basically your moment, and you still had like 3-4 months before you finally quit. By the
Mm-hmm.
way, when you come to this situation, anybody listening, you don't have to go to your boss tomorrow and quit and then figure it out. It may work for you, but you don't have to. So it took you the 3-4 months. So show us through the process after you talked with your friend who really gave you that belief. What happened from that point on?
Yeah. So when he and I had that conversation, we pretty much partnered up because I was podcasting by myself. He was podcasting by himself. And after that, I was like, okay, well, if we're going to do this, we're going to partner up. So I ended up partnering up with him and we started recording podcast episodes together. And when I was home, we would get up early, we would go to the gym together, and then we would spend the day together trying to figure out, how do we become better speakers? How do we become better men? How do we work on our character? What are our blind spots? What do we need to learn? That was the very beginning. And then I just leaned more into podcasting. The last few months before I left my job, I was acting like a full-time podcaster where we'd be interviewing people in person and we'd go to the gym with them and we were sending emails and we were getting on other shows. There was a lot of things happening from the business perspective. That really is what it was. I wasn't probably saving as much money as I should have been. I wasn't really planning any strategies around leaving my job. What ended up happening was I was supposed to, Alan's my business partner. Alan and I had an interview scheduled. And my work told me I would be working the day shift. We scheduled the interview for that night. And they ended up coming and saying, no, we're wrong. You're actually working tonight. And I said, I can't work tonight. I have prior engagements. And they gave me a lot of pushback. And that's when I ended up leaving. I said, I'm done. I'm not doing this. So it literally came, there was a fork in the road where I had to choose my job or the thing that I loved. And I ended up, that's when I made the decision of, okay, today's the day. Today's the day that I'm going to go all in on the podcast. But a lot of it was just that foundational stuff of I need to figure out who I am as a man. The level of your self-improvement is going to dictate the level of your success holistically. And I started there. I started with who is Kevin and what does Kevin need to work on as a human.
That is beautiful and so well said. And this is what this podcast is all about. We have to become the person we are meant to be first, so we can live the life we are destined to live. And it's so good to see and to witness when people go through that stage. And that is also a testimony to everybody else that it can be done. Wherever you are, it doesn't matter. Wherever you are right now, you can start working on yourself and then becoming really the person that you're destined to be, so you can do what you love what you do, and most importantly, destined to make a difference. And that's what you do now, right? So tell me, you have the Next Level University with your partner. And what do you do there?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on. So obviously, Next Level University is the podcast. So we do an episode every single day. We want to make sure we're adding free value to the community. So mentors in your pocket every single day from anywhere on the planet, completely free. That is the podcast. But underneath that, we have one-on-one coaching and group coaching and a lot of other things that we do. The through line of what we do and the reason we do it is because we believe self-improvement, if we had it when we were younger, Alan and myself, our lives would have ended up drastically different. So it's really our goal to help people understand what their current identity is and what results that identity is getting them in life, and then helping them shift their identity, and then adding new habits and new tactics and new relationships and new community to ultimately get whatever their version of success is. So it really is. A lot of it's coaching, but everything we do is based on, you need positivity around you. We can help you with the strategy. We can help you with the identity. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we have a place for everybody. If you don't have money for coaching, listen to the podcast. There's a bunch of free stuff, that. I want to make sure everybody has a spot, no matter their self-improvement set point or their financial set point.
Let me hop in here real quick to share something with you. Have you ever tried to build your own website, start a newsletter, or build a course and charge for it? Have you ever wanted to make money online but are totally confused by all the different systems you need to have? That's why I use Kajabi. Kajabi is the most popular system for online marketers, coaches, thought leaders, and influencers. Kajabi helps online entrepreneurs take off. Over 100,000 of us use Kajabi and have made over $4 billion. Why not be part of it? The best thing is, you don't have to figure out tons of systems or crazy technology to start your online business. Kajabi helps you do all of that, and it's all on one platform. That's why I use it. It makes my life so much easier, and I can even earn money while I'm sleeping. You can build your web pages, blogs, and membership sites. You can create offers, checkout pages, and collect money. You can host your videos. You can start your newsletter list, capture emails, start your marketing funnels, all in one place. It makes it fun and easy with awesome tutorials and support. Since I've joined Kajabi from the beginning, I have a special affiliate link that I would like to share with you. A 30-day free trial. So nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Just go to my link that's in the show notes, sabinekvenberg.com/resources, and we will redirect you to the free trial page. So now let's get back to the show. What do you do now to continue with the self-improvement?
Yeah, so I have 26 habits I track every day. So every single day I wake up and I weigh myself, and then I go to the gym. So I exercise for 30 minutes every day. I track my calories every day. And then I learn for 30 minutes every single day, whether it's a book, a YouTube channel, a meeting with my business partner, a coaching session, whatever it is. That's the big, learning is just the biggest thing for me, because as somebody who is coaching, if I don't learn, I can't really help people. Right. So that's a big thing for me. And then I also have habits in my relationship. So every single night before my wife and I go to bed, we play the gratitude game. So we each say one thing we're grateful for about one another, and then we go to sleep. And there's also an app that we use that it's just a question of the day. So I get a question, I answer it, it sends it over to her. She gets the same question, and then she answers it. So I'm trying to break my life up into health, into wealth, and into love. And if you can do a couple things under health, weigh yourself and drink enough water, get 8 hours of sleep, awesome. That's a great place to start. If you can do something under wealth, track your finances, right? We track our finances every single day as well. Cool. And then learn. Awesome. That's a great place to start. And then for love, what are a couple things you can do for yourself? Because at the end of the day, that is self-improvement. Self-improvement is improving yourself, your body, your relationships, your bank account. It can be all those things. It just depends on what do you ultimately want to focus on the most.
Yeah, I love it. And what you just said is such a great summary for someone listening to do this. Now, it can be overwhelming for people when they think, oh my God, okay, yeah, I know I want to change, but all of this, and I have to do this and this and this and this area. I always say, start with one. Start with one area, even though you know to improve all of these areas, but it can be overwhelming. And sometimes when people feel it's overwhelmed, they don't do nothing. They don't do anything, right? So, and I know it from myself too. I knew so many things. Yep. Yeah. We are hopefully all walking our talk. And so I wanted to, improve my health. But it's like, yeah, it was just so hard for so many things to do. Yeah. You have then those excuses. Yeah. Oh, my business just requires me. No, it's not. So actually you can be more productive if you work out first. So
Mm-hmm.
I love what you just said.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you had a magic wand and you could do anything in your life, right? Yeah, there's a genie in the bottle. What would be the number one thing you would like to do, or have, or want, or achieve now? Always changes, but just for the game.
That's a great question. I would probably ask for more time. That would probably be, I would say, hey, is there any way we can like double the amount of time we have in the day? Because I'd be able to get more done and add more value. And that would probably be a big thing. But if I only had like one specific thing, I would say I'd like to get to a million downloads that day. If the genie had that opportunity, I'd say just get us to 1 million downloads today. Because when I started this, I didn't see that. I didn't expect to have 1 million downloads. We'll get there. We're going to get there this year, most likely, which is great. But if the genie could make it happen sooner, that would be me crossing off something that I didn't really ever think was possible. I'm just a kid from a small town who had a big dream. And every time I get to another mile marker, right? We just did episode 1400. That was weird. It was weird for me to say today for episode number 1400. I never expected that. So yeah, I think that would be a very interesting mile marker for me to cross off. And if the genie would help me with that, I would take advantage of that.
Oh, fantastic. And you know what, Kevin? You just publicly put it out there into the universe. I really believe into the power of energy and putting the words out and the energy out there. It will come faster than you think. Wonderful. So if you could leave our listeners with just one piece of advice, I know there's so much to give, but if you could leave just one piece of advice, what would that be?
I would say understanding this has been very, very impactful for me. From day to day, progress is invisible. From year to year, progress is impossible to miss. So I went to the gym yesterday and I went to the gym today, and I am no different, not measurably different. I look exactly the same. But if you did that for a month, 6 months, a year, you would look drastically different. It's very hard to recognize contrast from day to day. So you have to believe in what you're doing, because at the end of the day, the biggest difference between who you are today and who you want to be eventually is your habits. So the habits, they don't pay off right away, positive or negative. They take time. So that just the understanding of the time component of success is one of the hardest things to measure, but it is probably the most important thing.
When we went through that weird time with the pandemic and couldn't do anything, couldn't go anywhere, and it started negative habits for me, eating, and I believe a lot can relate to that. So, and I didn't see it at first. Yeah, the pants are a little bit tight, but then like 3 years passed, and I was not even fitting into my what I call my fat pants, right? Then it's like, wow, something has to change, and I have pretty quote unquote healthy habits. However, these weren't good habits that I adopted over that time period. And then I said, all right, enough is enough. I want to change. But here's what I did. I didn't say I want to lose 10 pounds or 15 pounds in a month. No, I gave myself time to the end of the year and said, I'm going to now change my habits. And what you said, I'm working out every single day. I start with intermittent fasting and I take it easy. I'm not like eating nothing for a week. No. I really educated myself. What is the best way? How do you do this? And then I eased myself into it. And now it became new habits, a new lifestyle. I feel much better. I'm halfway there. So what you just said, I can second that from my own experience. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for
course.
being here. Now, if people want to listen to your podcast, it's called the Next Level Podcast. If they want to get a hold of you or follow you, how can they do that?
Yeah, so I do my own emails. You can just shoot me an email. My email is kevin@nextleveluniverse.com. I will get back to you. Questions, comments, concerns, anything you need. I'm happy to add value to your life. So that's the best place to get a hold of me. And then, just search Next Level University. We're on all the podcast platforms. We're on YouTube. So you will find us there.
Fantastic. And my listeners will see it in the show notes. So thank you so much for being here, Kevin. And go ahead and get your 1 million downloads and touch 1 million people.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
That was my interview. And if you enjoyed it, give us a 5-star review, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. Thanks for listening. Until I see you again, always remember, serve from the heart, follow your passion, and live the life you imagine.